What's up, guys? How is it going? Now, recently the NFL Combine has been happening. I've tried to react to some of the clips, but we've run into a few copyright issues here. So instead, we are reacting to the most dominant NFL Combine performances ever. I'm going to add the word ever on the end of that just for dramatic effect. So here we are, Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, I believe it always takes place. Let's dive into this and find out how dominant these performances are. Let's go.
Every year, college athletes flock to Indianapolis to take part in the NFL Combine.
Flock like birds.
It's a circus of sorts, where NFL hopefuls compete to see who can run the fastest, jump the highest, lift the most weight, all with the intent to increase their draft status and hopefully convince a team to draft them higher than they probably should. Players train specifically for these events, trying to marginally increase their performance.
I've never tried one of those treadmills.
These minute optimizations can be the difference between generational wealth and less generational wealth.
Well, I didn't actually realize there was that much difference in between like the pay from #1 pick. Now I know why people are fuming when they drop down the draft order, because in my head I've always thought people get angry when they drop down the draft order, but I've always thought surely the further down you go, say if you're like bottom of the first round, that means you go into a good team, right? Because the best teams don't have the best draft picks. The worst team have the best draft picks. Now I get it. It's all about the moolah.
Once in a while, we see a player dominate a single event.
Less
often do we see a player dominate multiple events. And even less often has a player dominated all 6 main physical events.
A heptathlon athlete.
But it's happened. So let's talk about him.
Let's talk about it.
How can we classify a dominant combine performance? Well, there's not a single way to do this, but here's my attempt. First, we take all 7,766 combine performances since 1999.
This screen is disgusting.
And group them by position. Then, we retrieve each player's results for the 6 main physical events.
Why is there so many wide receivers?
Vertical jump, broad jump, 3-cone drill, 20-yard shuttle, and bench press.
Let me know in the comments which one would be your strongest one. If you had to do one of these in the Combine, which one would you be strongest or weakest? I reckon the 3-cone drill would be my weakest. Strongest, maybe vertical. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd fail at all of them. Maybe vertical jump. I don't know.
As an example, here's Deo Samuel's Combine numbers for those 6 events. We then find what rank Samuel achieved in each event compared to all other wide receivers, and calculate the percentile in which he finished. Take the average of those 6 percentiles, and you're left with a score representative of how dominant the player was at the Combine.
I like your methods.
Essentially, it's the average percentile of a player's Combine results relative to their positional group. Players will sometimes opt out of events that they know they may not perform well in, or don't think is relevant to show to draft scouts. These players have been excluded from consideration. You have to have completed all 6 main physical events to qualify. Yes, this does lead to great Combine performances like Anthony Richardson's to be left out, but hey, I don't make the rules.
Gotta hit the bench, man. You can't avoid the bench press. I know I'm pausing a lot here and I'm going off topic a little bit. Did anyone see that video with Tom Brady who ran a faster 40-yard dash? I think it was like now than he did when he was actually doing it in the Combine. That's insane.
With the dominance methodology established, here's every Combine participant's dominance score by year. There is a bias against older Combine performances because the players during that era generally didn't complete all 6 events. From 1999 to 2005, only 4 players did. Participating in all 6 events started gaining traction in around 2010, and the golden years of the NFL Combine were the mid-2010s, where in 3 consecutive years, the 3rd, 2nd, and most dominant NFL Combine performances took place. Let's first take a look at the bronze place finisher.
That's Lane Johnson.
I don't recognize this guy. It's an offensive linesman.
He runs like an athletic tight end.
Coming out of college, Lane Johnson was a highly sought-after offensive tackle who scouts claimed possessed ideal athleticism in addition to a 6'6", 303-pound frame. His performance at the 2013 Combine solidified what people already knew about him. But most people didn't expect just how freakishly athletic Johnson's Combine results would be. One of the few people who did predict Lane Johnson's Combine results was Lane Johnson.
I was going to say himself.
During a meal with his agent on the day of the Combine, Johnson said, I'm going to rip this fucking combine to such a level that these motherfuckers have never seen anything like it.
I love that. I love that self-confidence in himself. Lane Johnson, you are that guy.
And when it's all said and done, I'm going to go top 5. And he was spot on. These motherfuckers had never seen anything like it. Johnson finished the 6 events ranked 2nd, 4th, 4th again, 14th, 41st, and 81st on the all-time lists among offensive tackles.
That's actually pretty insane that he's so high up on the broad jump, but pretty low down on the bench press. Is this just amongst the offensive tackles, though? Sorry.
Tackles.
Yeah, it is. Maybe that's why. I was going to say you'd expect a big guy like that to be bench pressing more than everyone else. But
even on the bench press and shuttle, his 2 worst events, he ranked in the 74th and 89th percentiles, which is still pretty great.
It's not bad.
But his dominance was on full display in the other 4 events. His 4.72 40-yard dash is 2nd all-time among offensive tackles, 1/100th behind first place, and it ties him with wide receivers Anquan Bolden and Jawan Jennings, despite both of these guys weighing nearly 90 pounds less than Johnson. And his 118-inch broad jump broke Tony Ugo's record that had stood since 2007. Johnson's record jump wouldn't be beaten until 2018. If you pair that 118-inch broad jump with his 34-inch vertical and 7.31 second 3-cone drill, we find that he's got a profile that's closer to the average running back than to the average offensive lineman. It's been over 10 years since Johnson competed at the Combine. Hundreds of other offensive tackles with access to better training, nutrition, and sports science have had their results tracked. Despite the influx of competitors, 4 of Johnson's 6 events remain in at least the 96th percentile, with 2 of them in the 99th percentile. When it was all said and done, Johnson did end up going top 5. He called a shot, and he delivered, posting the 3rd most dominant combine performance.
Was he a good player? I've never heard of him.
But the year after Johnson's 92.85, someone beat it. Someone with a slightly different frame than Johnson's.
Slightly different. 5'9". McKinnon. Running back.
But the first play of the second half is good for
wide receiver. Running back, right? 5'9".
Unlike Johnson, Jerick McKinnon didn't have much attention from NFL scouts when he came out of Georgia Southern in 2014. Mock drafts prior to the Combine had McKinnon going either very late in the draft or completely undrafted. After his 2014 Combine performance, he shot up draft boards. In the 20-yard shuttle, McKinnon posted a time of 4.12, which was 4th among running backs that year, and slotted him in the 84th percentile all-time.
Okay.
Pretty decent.
This
was his worst finish among the 6 events.
It's not blowing my mind.
The only other event that he finished below the 90th percentile was his 6.83 second 3-cone drill. But McKinnon was fast. His 4.41 40-yard dash was 2nd among running backs that year, and in the 90th percentile all-time.
Yo, someone killed it that year. Who was that guy? I want to know.
Was 2nd
Dre Archer
among running backs that year, and in the 90th percentile all-time. And while McKinnon performed well in these 3 events, the last 3 are where he really separated himself from the pack, starting with a vertical leap of 40.5 inches and a broad jump of 132 inches, which place him in the 96th and 98th percentiles respectively. Going into the final event, McKinnon's dominance score was sitting at a 91.92. Through those 5 events, his dominance score ranked only 23rd. He was on the outside looking in, and needed a big score on the bench press if he wanted to crack the top 3. But the bench press is an event especially challenging for running backs. It's hard to be both fast and strong. And given the importance scouts place on the 40-yard dash, running backs usually prioritize speed and agility over strength. In fact, if we look at the top 250 bench press scores all time at the Combine by weight of the player, we see that the most successful bench pressers often weigh over 300 pounds, and 249 of the 250 weigh more than 225 pounds. There's one person outside of that range.
McKinnon.
Because at the 2014 Combine, at a body weight of 209 pounds, Jerick McKinnon put up 32 reps on the bench press.
And what's that? 2 plates either side plus the bar. That is impressive. Isn't there something to say about the height of a guy, or like the length of a guy's arms and how hard it is to bench press though? Because I've heard, I don't know if it's scientifically true, that the shorter your arms, the easier it is to bench press, right? You have less range of motion to do a full rep, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to take away from him, but...
Only one running back has ever had more bench press reps than McKinnon. Alex Barnes had 34 reps in the 2019 Combine, but he weighed 226 pounds and was significantly slower, ranking in just the 40th percentile in the 40-yard dash. While a running back like Barnes prioritized strength over speed, McKinnon prioritized strength and speed. He finished in the 99.8th percentile in the bench press and vaulted his way into the second most dominant combine performance of all time, which led the Minnesota Vikings to take a chance on him and draft him in the 3rd round.
Michael Schofield, weren't he in Prison Break? Denver Broncos had Michael Schofield.
After which, Hall of Fame running back Adrien Peterson had this to say about McKinnon. He's probably the best athlete on the team. You don't think he can bench more than 400 pounds, but he does. You don't think he can squat over 500? He does.
500
He keeps
pound
me on
squat.
top of my game, I'll tell you that. Pretty high praise for a guy who was only the 112th ranked recruit coming out of the state of Georgia back in 2010. And it just so happens that the man with the most dominant NFL Combine performance was also in that same 2010 Georgia high school class.
What were they doing in Georgia? What are they feeding him in Georgia?
After a successful 4 years of college at Clemson where he set the school's career sack record, Vic Beasley went into the 2015 Combine with high expectations. Scouts called Beasley one of the best pure edge rushers, with the speed and strength to become an absolute menace in the NFL. Beasley confirmed this sentiment with his Combine performance. He showed no weakness in any of the 6 events. With Johnson and McKinnon, there were 1 or 2 events where their dominance wavered, but not Beasley.
Above the 90th
In each event,
percentile.
he was in at least the 90th percentile, and he finished top 10 all-time in 4 of the 6 events, ranking 7th in the 40-yard dash, 2nd in the vertical jump, 4th in the broad jump, and 7th in the bench press. Of the entire field's 7,700 broad
I know
jump
my
and 7th in
NFL
the
knowledge
bench
isn't
press.
like superior, especially I know the rules of the games and whatnot, you know what I mean, but I don't know all the players from the past. But it's interesting to me that from these names on the list, I don't recognize any of them, really. Dominique Robinson, I don't think I recognize any of these people, man. Which doesn't mean they weren't great players. I'm new to
Of
the
the
sport, you know what
entire
I mean?
field's 7,766 combine performances, 1,531 of them ran a 40-yard dash of 4.53 or better. 105 of those players also had a 41-inch vertical jump. 50 of those players also had a 130-inch broad jump. 39 of those players also ran a 6.91 shuttle. 30 of those players also ran a 4.15 three-cone drill. And 1 of those players also had 35 bench press reps.
So it's the bench press setting him apart,
is
isn't
Vic
it?
Beasley. He ended up with a 96.7 dominant score, and his combine performance made headlines across media outlets. Beasley was considered a first-round prospect prior to the combine, but after his combine performance, he leapt into top 10 consideration, and the Atlanta Falcons took him with the 8th overall pick. Unfortunately, dominance at the combine doesn't necessarily equate to dominance in the NFL.
This is what I'm saying.
It's long been said that good combine scores don't translate to good NFL players. There's a reason
Tom
why
Brady.
the NFL combine is sometimes
Look at
referred
that.
to as the underwear Olympics.
Yo,
Often, the most dominant players
I've got that Tom Brady build, you know.
of the NFL combine aren't necessarily the most dominant players in the NFL. This analysis supports that claim. From 1999 to 2023, the first round of NFL drafts produced an average of 12.6 Pro Bowlers. The top 31 most dominant combine performances produced a total of 8 Pro Bowlers, which makes for a pretty weak theoretical draft class. In fact, some of the least dominant combine performances produced some of the better players. Dalvin Cook, Antonio Brown, Zadarius Smith, and Jordan Poyer all ranked in the bottom quarter of dominant combine performances.
Antonio
But
Brown,
they've all carved out pretty successful NFL careers. So does the NFL Combine truly matter? Probably not as much as the hype surrounding it makes it out to be. But we can take it at face value. Athletic phenoms pushing the boundaries of what's possible. And it's pretty cool to witness.
It is cool to watch. I've been enjoying watching the clips on YouTube and whatnot.
A 159, a little bit better, Mike.
Way better. That's what, it's what
Wow.
he needed to be
But there we go.
1-6 or better.
Why is it that it doesn't translate well to the NFL? It is quite surprising. I guess they don't test any actual skills, right? There's no skills testing. But there we go. I quite enjoyed this video. It's a very stat-heavy video. The weird ones to react to sometimes, because I know I am talking over the commentary sometimes. I try not to do it too much, but it is going to happen. Guys, let me know down below what you want me to react to, because I am struggling a little bit at the moment as to what to react to. I know March Madness is right around the corner. We are going to be covering that very soon. We're going to make one of those brackets again like we did last year, and I'll post a link so you guys can also do your bracket in there. But I'll keep you updated on that. But let me know if there's anything else down below you do want me to react to, because I do need some ideas at the moment. With the NFL ending, it's getting kind of tough out here. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure you are subscribed, all of that good stuff, and I'll catch you for the next one. Take it easy. Peace.